Common question that I'm asked for people that are just coming into DaVinci Resolve is, what is the difference between layers and nodes? So let's take a look at both of them, and hopefully I can explain to you the differences between them and why you might see one better than the other. So without further ado, let's get started. Explore a wide selection of pre-made creative tools for DaVinci Resolve, like titles, transitions, slideshows and infographics, like bar charts and callouts, and much, much more. Link in the description for more information. So it doesn't matter what program you're working in, layers pretty much work the same way. We have a layer stack here, and pretty much what we're going to be doing constantly is we're going to be stacking these layers depending on what we want to actually see here. So let's say we took this and we added in something here. So pretty much how they're going to be processed is we're first going to have this node, and then this one's going to be laid on top. Because this is a complete solid, we're not going to see the one underneath, so that gets added into the whole image. And then we're going to lay this one on top of that. With layer stacks, there's commonly a couple of different settings that you can use. So we have the opacity, so we can change how much of whatever the layers that we're working on gets added to the one below. And then we have these blend modes, sometimes they're called, or composite modes. And it dictates how we're going to add on these particular pixels to the image below it. So are we going to, whatever the pixel value is, are we going to multiply it with the one underneath? Are we going to add them together? Are we going to subtract, divide, whatever? So that is kind of like in a styling thing that you can do. And then additionally, what you can also do is you can add in a mask. So if I was to add in a mask here, what I just did is I cut out portions of the spiral that I made, and I can come into here and I can add a mask onto here. So now we can see, first we have this one here. And then when we go to add in this next image, we have a portion of it cut out. So now we can see underneath. And then this little spiral that also has a cutout that then gets added. Everything gets added on top. What gets to be kind of cool is when we start to add in different effects. So I'm just going to bring up an HSL just so I can shift the colors here. And what we're doing here is first this one's coming in, then we're adding that HSL in, and that's going to shift the hue. And then we're bringing everything else in with what I previously said. So that's kind of how they work. And then you can bring things in. You could take things like this and you can group them up, and then you can add a HSL to everything there. If you want it to do that as well, you have that possibility. So that's kind of how layers work in a nutshell. And so things like DaVinci Resolve also has layers, so let me show you that quick. So we have our node, or our clip here, right? If we were to duplicate this, now we have two of them here, and we could take this first one here, and then let's just shrink this down. So we're pretty much putting this one, and then we're putting this one on top, and because it's smaller, there's going to be a lot more of like the canvas that isn't currently occupied by anything, so we're going to see the clip below. And then in here we also have the different composite modes, so we can switch this to add, and as we can see, we're adding them together and ends up the snow gets blown out. So that's kind of pretty much what we're used to seeing. The other things, we can also do something that you do in primarily like Fusion. I mean, you do it in Premiere as well, where you can take them. It's called nesting in Premiere, where we turn them into a compound clip. And now everything that was in there is almost like a clip in itself. So now I can take these two and I can duplicate them. And then here I can make this one smaller and then maybe rotate this one and shift it over. And now I have a bunch of stuff that's happening in this one and a bunch of stuff that's happening in this one. And we're treating these like individual clips themselves and adding on top of them. So this is how the layer system works. Now, if I ever want to change something, I have to go into the compound clip in DaVinci Resolve. That's what they're called. I have to go into the compound clip to modify them. And that's kind of where a node-based structure kind of differs primarily, is you have to go into these now to add adjustments before, where now we don't really have to. So let me first show you the color page, because the color, actually, you know what? I need to get rid of this so I can get a normal, a color page. This is where you're typically going to always see the nodes. And pretty much what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going from this in point to that out point. That's what you're going to do. And in between, you're going to add a whole bunch of nodes. Each node is its own corrector, and the corrector himself, you can use all of these controls, kind of like over here where we were adding adjustment layers. It's the same thing in here. We're just going to be adding our corrections onto this. So let's take this first one and maybe add an S curve in here. And we can see that our snow is quite blown out. Now let's add in another corrector. So maybe in the second one here, I really want to turn this snow red. So I could just come over here and I could drop down the green and the blue. And now we're starting to get this red, and let's bring it down to a deep red. And we can see overall the image is kind of, being affected by all of this. We could come over into here and let's get rid of all of the lighter stuff, or excuse me, the darker stuff here. And we can see here what I did. I just masked out all of that. And then we could go on from here and we could continuously keep adding to this and, changing this whole shot up to kind of fit our needs. And I don't know what your needs are if you're doing a grade like this. And then now you might be saying, okay, well, what about the different blend modes and stuff like that? What if I want to take two different things and lay them on top of each other? Well, you can do that too by just adding in a layer mixer. And so we have a layer mixer here. We right click on it. We have all of our different composite modes. If you've never seen a layer mixer or you don't know how they work, you can just right click, add node, and then you have a layer mixer. And that would work the same exact way. The only thing here is that instead of top down, we're going to go from bottom up. So the easiest way to show this is now I can go and I can pull something from a different portion. So here in this particular shot here, we added a bunch of contrast, and let's say that's what we want. We can grab the information from here. Now we're adding it onto here, and now they're going into here. So first we're dropping this one down, and then we're laying this one on top. And currently our composite mode is normal. So there isn't going to be anything there. What we would need is something that is transparent so that we could see through it, or this particular node, we would have to reduce its opacity. And to do that, we would come over here to our keyer, and then the output we would reduce kind of like the opacity. Additionally, what we could do is we could come in and let's just add in a mask. So there we go. Now we have a mask in that little area there. In between here, we could add in a node right before, and let's say we changed up the color of this. Let's go to a different color. We changed up the color of this corrector now, but it has the contrast from this corrector here. Putting the contrast in here, then we're making an adjustment. Then we're saying, okay, we only want this particular portion, and we're going to lay them on top of each other. This is where it starts to get into being able to pull portions of your color correction and reusing them at different areas. It's kind of like branching out data. So we make maybe this side is real contrasty because we needed to pull out something or add contrast in a particular area. And then instead of just constantly adding in some type of keyer or something like that, we could pull in a clean plate and have some modifications to that and then bring them both together. And as you can see, we can morph this into a parallel node. There is an explanation. I have a video about all the different types of nodes that are on the color page that you can go into, but pretty much we're going to be adding the colors together, kind of like watercolors in that sense. So that's pretty much the biggest thing here. And then going on further from here, we're now adding something, another node in, and you have to remember that the in here is going to dictate how all of these parameters work, right? So if we're qualifying something, we're picking particular values that we're going to then modify within the corrector. All of these correctors are going to be based off of whatever our in is here. So let's say we went to red over here, and we actually looked at what we're keying. We can see like, okay, now we're just keying just all this red, so I could shift all of that to a different color, right? And we still have all of our other stuff that we have going on there. So kind of that's probably the easiest way to explain how nodes work. You can pull portions of your grade from other areas without having to continuously add like duplication. So like here, we would have to add in another duplication. And when we go over into Fusion, one thing that a lot of people that are coming from, let's say, After Effects that they're going to be used to is constantly doing pre-compositing and stuff like that. And that's kind of taking everything like we did over here initially with the compound clip. It's doing that same sort of thing where we add a bunch of corrections in. In Fusion, you have all of your layers, so you have your layer stack, but then you also have an effects stack. And the effects stack is all based upon where effects are in that effects stack. So if we go into Fusion, Fusion's a little bit different. And this is one thing where people get really confused and they don't really understand. So if we were to take two things, let's take these two. I'm just going to view them up here. We're going to go one red and one, let's go blue. Okay, so now we have these two, and let's say we want to add them to a clip, but let's add something in here. So we're just going to do that. I'm just going to copy that just for quickness, and we're going to move it up here. Now, if we were to add both of these together within After Effects, because you would just put both of them on your timeline and call it a day, right? Well, in here, we need to state which one is on top of one another, because in After Effects, you would just lay them on top of each other. And that's where a merge would come in. And if you're not completely aware of the different nodes, you just simply have to hover over them and it'll tell you what that particular endpoint does. You can also right click, drag and drop, and then it'll ask you which one you want to add it into. So let's say we want to make the red one the background. We drag this into here and we want to make this one the foreground. So when we view this, we see them overlapping the way in which we wanted them to. We could also click on it and then hit Control T to flip them if we wanted to, and it's just flipping these two. And then we also have the ability to add masks into here. So the idea here is the merge is going to say how we're going to take this foreground image and lay it on top of this background image. So if we look at the merge and we come over here, we can see that we have all of those different modes that we can pick from. We can take this particular in image, right? So let's say they're images. We can take this one in, we can resize it, we can change it, we can reposition it how we want to. So a lot of people are like confused because in After Effects, you just add two things, you change the color, boom, you're done, right? But here you have to add in a merge because it needs to know which one needs to go on top of the other. So it starts to make it seem like it's more complex than it really is. But where it gets cool is because let's say we have this particular thing here, and just for sake, let's just add something in here. And now we want to add in a red box on top of what we have so far, but we want it to have a cutout of the JRTV. So we could take this stuff, right? And we could go to the out, which will give us another merge. And because of the way in which we took the out of here and put it on top of the out of the merge, it made another merge automatically instead of having to drag it down. And now this merge has everything that we previously made here as the background, and then this stuff as the foreground. And now what we can do is we can say, okay, this JRTV that we have, let's use that as a mask. So now when we view it, let's take this mask and invert the mask. So we'll come over here and we'll go invert mask, and then we can take this particular node, because all of it really is controlling is this box, and we can move this box and then come into here and move this. And now we're seeing, actually, you know what, let's come to the edge so it makes more sense. Obviously isn't easier ways of doing this by just adding in another background and stuff, but the idea here is that you can pull from a previously used thing instead of having to do recomposites all the time, which you typically have to do if you want to re-reference something that you've previously had things added to. So this particular thing has a mask added to it. Now these could be in-depth things that you have modified or added to it. Like we could simply just come up here, and this is our image that we were working with. We could simply just pipe this into here. Or actually, let's pipe it down to here, because this would make more sense and make it a little easier to understand. And then we could put that mask onto there. Whoops. Into here. And into here. Why did that connect that way? So there we go. Now we're taking that original source and we're doing, and I think that this would make it even easier to see, is if I put a black background back here. So we have that we brought in from the timeline, right? And then we're cropping it, right? So we're cropping it, and then we're bringing it in here. We're laying this blue on top of it, right? And then we're bringing it down that we already had. We're bringing it down here, and then this little situation, we're cutting out the JRTV with this text here, and then it's coming in, and now we're able to lay everything on top of a black background. This might seem a little complicated at first, but once you start to have complex composites where you're continuously reusing elements and you want to reference something that you worked on before because you need maybe a brightness map or something like that, it's easy to just pull instead of having to recomp something, pull it back down, and then if you added some type of an effect onto something, you have to go back and try to find which pre-composite you did, go into that one, then which layer was it that you added that effect into. It's just a lot of things that are like nested, that are like folder and folder and folder, and this kind of makes it a lot easier to see because you can just zip around. You can simply pull from things. When things get really crazy, you can add these wireless nodes, which pretty much just takes any node that you have and you can reference that node and pull it in, and you can just see everything instead of having to go in and out of different comps that you're working on or pre-composites that you're working on. It just makes it a very simplified way of being able to work on the fly and having as least friction as possible when you start to get really complex things. So hopefully that kind of covers it. I made a video before explaining every little thing, and it was too complex that I don't think a lot of people would really be able to follow unless you kind of understood compositing in a nutshell. But hopefully that kind of covers it for the people that have the questions about DaVinci Resolve. Why are we using nodes instead of layers, and how are layers different than nodes? Hopefully this kind of explains it. So that's kind of all I got for you for today. If you have any questions about DaVinci Resolve, in the description, I have a link to my Facebook group. You can ask your questions there. Hopefully a member of the community will be able to help you out. But with that being said, my name's JR, and thanks for watching, guys.